Hello, I'm Dr. Ross Walker and welcome to the Checkup. Hello, Dr. Ross Walker and welcome to the Checkup. Last week I spoke about the decade of the 20s and what that means for your health. Let's now move into the decade of the 30s, which Carl Jung in his archetypical way said that this was the decade of the warrior. This is where you start to fight. This is where you try to be better than anyone else. And this is where you're starting to really develop your career. In your 20s, you might have gone to university or develop your trade or whatever. But in your 30s is when you're starting to become a bit more successful, maybe settling down. And interestingly, I've found in my own practice, up to the age of 30, people think they're bulletproof. But over the age of 30, they're starting to think about their mortality a little bit more, think about their responsibilities a little bit more, not just their responsibility to themselves, but to those around them who are becoming special to them, and they need to develop and stay healthy for those people. So I say the decade of the 30s is the decade of getting rid of those bad habits you may have cultivated in your 20s. You may have started smoking. You may go out on a Saturday night and get yourself written off with alcohol. And see, this is the weird thing about binge drinking. I have many people say to me, "Oh, Doc, I don't drink during the week. I only just have a bit on the weekends." But that bit on the weekends might be 10 schooners of beer or 10 hits of spirit or whatever it is. And the problem is with doing that is you knock off your brain and your liver for about 5 or 6 days, and then you do it again. And even worse than all of these things is using illegal drugs. So people think, oh, I go on Saturday night, smoke a joint, use a bit of cocaine, all of these dreadful, dreadful, dreadful things. I had a man in his 30s who had a strong family history of heart disease, went out on a bucks night, had a few lines of coke, and had a major heart attack, damaging most of his heart. And his heart is now scarred for life, just by that one event on a Saturday night. So I see the 30s as the decade of getting rid of bad habits. So if you have continued those habits on from your 20s into your 30s, see this as an opportunity to stop. It's my own view that no one has a right to smoke unless you have no one else in your life who loves and cares for you, because they should not be involved in witnessing your premature death. No one should be drinking too much alcohol. I'm a great believer in moderation. Keep your alcohol down to 1 or 2 glasses per day, a few days a week. Maybe have a day off a week just to prove to yourself you can have a day off a week. And no one should be using any illegal drugs whatsoever at any time in their life. That's the checkup. We'll talk about the decades of the 40s next week.